12,900 years ago, something killed every large animal in North America in a single day. Not a disease, not a drought, not climate change. One day. Mastodons, mammoths, giant ground sloths, American horses, short-faced bears, 35 entire genera gone, simultaneously in the same geological layer across an entire continent. Scientists found the evidence in 2007. Nano diamonds in the sediment, microscopic glass spherules, iridium, platinum, the chemical fingerprint of one thing and one thing only. Something hit this planet hard. Now, here is what should disturb you. 4,000 years before those scientists published their findings, a Sumerian scribe sitting in the city of Nippur had already described what that impact felt like from the ground. In detail. The sky turned black from the south before the water came. The earth shook before the flood arrived. A noise unlike any storm reached them before the wave did, and the destruction moved in a specific direction from sea to land, not from sky to ground. That tablet is catalogued as K3375 in the British Museum. It has been available for study since 1872, and the physical sequence it describes, darkness, then shaking, then noise, then water. That is not a narrative choice. That is not a storytelling device. That is physics. When a large object impacts the ocean, the radiant heat from atmospheric entry precedes the impact by seconds, enough to ignite coastal vegetation across hundreds of miles and send a wall of smoke and superheated air ahead of everything else. Darkness from the particulate injection follows almost immediately. The seismic wave travels through the earth faster than water travels across the surface, so the ground shakes before the tsunami arrives. The acoustic pressure wave moves faster than water, but slower than the seismic energy, so the roar reaches observers after the shaking starts, but before the flood does. Darkness, shaking, noise, water. The Sumerian text gives you that exact sequence. A Bronze Age scribe writing in 2400 BCE did not know orbital mechanics. He did not know atmospheric physics. He did not know what a pressure wave was. He recorded what survivors told him, in the order they experienced it. And the order they experienced it is the order that physics predicts. It's 2900 BCE in Shirapak. The city sits on the western bank of the Euphrates, approximately 200 kilometers south of modern Baghdad. A man named Ziusudra is awake before dawn. He has been awake before dawn every morning for 20 years. His job is to record everything. Weather patterns, water levels, the behavior of birds before storms, the color of the southern horizon at specific times of year. The air this morning smells wrong. Not the normal river smell, not the normal dry season dust, something mineral, something he has not encountered before in 20 years of systematic observation, something coming from the south and carrying a heat that has no business being in the air before sunrise. He does not reach for a religious text. He reaches for a clay tablet. He presses his reed into the wet clay surface, and he begins writing exactly what his senses are telling him. Not what it means, not what the gods intend, what he is observing, the smell, the direction, the temperature anomaly. The discipline of his training takes over. He writes, "The sky is turning from the south." He writes, "The ground is moving in a way I have not recorded before." He writes, "There is a sound coming that is not wind and not thunder." He does not yet know he is writing the most important document in human history. He just knows something is wrong, and that his job is to record it. The tablet he produces over the following hours, reproduced and copied by successive generations of scribes who recognized it as irreplaceable, eventually becomes the core of the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Genesis, and the world's oldest written account of a global catastrophe. But something happened to that account in every subsequent retelling. The sequence got stripped out. By the time the story became the biblical flood, darkness, shaking, and acoustic warning were replaced by 40 days of rain. The physics disappeared. What remained was the water. In 1997, William Ryan and Walter Pittman at Columbia University's Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory pulled sediment cores from the floor of the Black Sea. What Ryan found in those cores stopped him for a long time. Below a specific layer, freshwater mollusk shells, the remains of organisms that live in fresh water. Above that same layer, saltwater shells. The Black Sea had been a freshwater lake, isolated from the Mediterranean by a natural land barrier at the Bosporus, surrounded by fertile lowlands inhabited by people who farmed its shores. Then, approximately 7,500 years ago, the rising Mediterranean broke through. Ryan and Pittman ran the numbers on what followed. At peak inflow, the equivalent of 200 Niagara Falls poured through the Bosphorus. The Black Sea rose 6 inches every day. The shoreline advanced inland at a mile per day in the worst affected areas. Stop. Before I continue, you need to understand what that actually felt like. You go to sleep with your village 2 miles from the water. You wake up and the water is 2 miles closer than it was yesterday. You go to sleep again. You wake up and it is another 2 miles closer. This continues every single day for months, with no way to know when it will stop, because it does not stop. You run. You keep running. Ryan and Pittman proposed that the survivors of this Black Sea catastrophe migrated south into the Tigris and Euphrates valleys, into the region where Sumerian civilization was forming, carrying with them the memory of a world consumed by water. Their book was published. It received attention. It was discussed. And then, the scientific conversation quietly moved on. Because Ryan and Pittman's theory, as compelling as it was, had a problem that nobody wanted to address directly. The Black Sea flood explains the water. It does not explain the sky turning black from the south. It does not explain the ground shaking before the flood arrived, and it does not explain a detail in the original Sumerian text that Ryan and Pittman never engaged with. A detail about the noise. The text describes a sound so enormous that even the scribes recording the account could not find a word for it. A sound that came before the water. A sound that the survivors described as unlike any storm, unlike any earthquake, unlike anything in the record of human observation. A sound that arrived from the same direction as the darkness, from the south. In 2006, Dr. Bruce Massey, an environmental archaeologist at Los Alamos National Laboratory, published the results of a decade-long research program. He had systematically cataloged every flood myth from every culture he could document. His final dataset covered over 200 independent traditions from cultures with no documented contact. He was looking for patterns. He found one. Fire before flood. Not in every account, but in a statistically significant number of independent traditions, from the Sumerians to the Ohlone people of California, to multiple South American indigenous cultures to Chinese imperial mythology, the same sequence appeared. Fire or burning sky, then darkness, then catastrophic water. The specificity of the fire detail is what stopped Massey. Rain does not come with fire. Regional floods do not come with fire. Gradually rising sea levels do not come with fire. Fire before flood is the signature of one thing. Something burning as it comes through the atmosphere. Radiant heat igniting coastal vegetation before impact, before the ocean displacement, before the mega tsunami that follows. Massey identified a candidate impact site, Burkle Crater on the floor of the Indian Ocean, southeast of Madagascar, approximately 30 kilometers in diameter. Dating estimates place its formation within the last 10,000 years, with some analyses suggesting approximately 5,000 years ago. An impact at Burkle, the Indian Ocean displaced, mega tsunamis radiating outward in every direction, striking the East African coast, the Arabian Peninsula, the western coast of India, pushing up the Persian Gulf. Directly toward the mouth of the Euphrates, directly toward Shuruppak. The noise that Zuyusudra recorded, coming from the south, arriving before the water, would have been the acoustic pressure wave from an impact in the Indian Ocean. Physics, not mythology. I almost cut this next part. I should not have considered cutting it. In 2007, Dr. Alan West and a team of 26 researchers from institutions including the University of California, the University of Oregon, the Carolinas, and multiple European universities published a paper in the Proceedings of the National Sciences. The paper described physical evidence of a large extraterrestrial impact event at 12,900 years ago. The evidence was found in a sediment layer at 26 separate sites across North America, Europe, and the Middle East. Nanodiamonds, glass spherules, iridium, platinum, magnetic microspherules, high-temperature iron spherules that form only above 1500 degrees Celsius, the complete chemical fingerprint of a major impact event distributed across 3 continents in the same geological moment. The Younger Dryas boundary layer. The event that ended the last ice age in a pattern that no climate model has ever satisfactorily explained. Temperatures that dropped sharply and then rose catastrophically fast. Ice sheets that had been stable for millennia collapsing within what appears to be a human lifetime. 35 large mammal genera going extinct across North America simultaneously. Dozens of human settlements across North America, Europe, and the Middle East abandoned at the exact same geological moment. West's paper was published. It was challenged. Multiple research teams published critiques of his methodology. The debate became one of the most contentious in contemporary geology. But here is what nobody who challenged the paper addressed. The nanodiamonds are real. They have been confirmed at over 50 sites now. The glass spherules are real. The iridium anomaly is real. The simultaneous extinctions are real. Every challenge to West's interpretation has questioned his methodology for attributing these markers to a specific impact. None have explained what else could have produced them.
The evidence is not disputed. The explanation is. And the Sumerian text, written by survivors, does not distinguish between those two questions. The survivors recorded what they experienced. They did not need a mechanism. They had the event. What the official record says here is technically true. It is also deliberately incomplete. The standard academic position on the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis is that it remains unconfirmed. The evidence is considered insufficient to establish a definitive causal link between an impact event and the Younger Dryas climate transition. What the standard position does not say is that the evidence has grown significantly since West's original 2007 paper. Dr. Christopher Moore at the University of South Carolina published new analysis in 2019 showing the highest concentrations of impact markers ever recorded at a site called White Pond in South Carolina. His team found platinum concentrations 40 times higher than the surrounding sediment, nanodiamonds, spherules, all in the same layer, all at the Younger Dryas boundary. Moore's paper was published in Scientific Reports. It appeared in 0 mainstream science news outlets. Think about what that means. A peer-reviewed paper published in a major journal presenting the highest concentration of impact evidence ever found for one of the most significant geological events in human history received no mainstream coverage whatsoever. The evidence keeps growing. The coverage keeps shrinking. And somewhere in that gap is a question that nobody in institutional science is currently funded to answer. If an impact event caused the Younger Dryas, and if Sumerian records accurately describe the physical characteristics of that event, then those records are not mythology. They are the most accurate eyewitness account of a global catastrophe in the written record. And if that is true, then every other detail in those texts deserves to be looked at again, with different eyes. This is the moment the story changes. Everything before this was the setup. In 1929, Leonard Woolley was excavating at the ancient city of when his team hit an 11-foot layer of clean, water-deposited sediment. Below it, one cultural phase. Above it, a completely different civilization.
He called it Noah's flood. The world agreed for 20 years. Then geologists pointed out that the flood deposits at different Mesopotamian sites dated to different periods. At approximately 4000 BCE, Shuruppak at approximately 2900 BCE, Kish at approximately 3200 BCE. The skeptics concluded there was no single global flood, just a series of regional events. They were asking the wrong question. The question is not whether one flood covered the entire Earth simultaneously and left identical deposits everywhere. That is not how impacts or tsunamis work. The question is whether a single large-scale catastrophic event could have produced multiple flooding episodes across a wide region over an extended period, as the initial disaster triggered secondary effects across years or decades. The geological record of the Younger Dryas boundary does not show a single moment of catastrophe. It shows a period of sustained catastrophic disruption lasting approximately 1,200 years. Climate instability, repeated flooding, species collapse, human displacement. Multiple flood deposits at different Mesopotamian cities at different dates is not evidence against a single cause. It is what the aftermath of a large-scale impact event would actually look like across generations of human memory. The Sumerian scribes were not recording one flood. They were recording the one that their ancestors survived, the one that was worth preserving, the one that happened before the Great Silence, before the cultural break that separates two distinct civilizations in the same archaeological site. The one that turned the sky black from the south before the water came. The mainstream version of this ends here. The documented version does not. Here is what the physical evidence, the ancient record, and the published but unsynthesized research establishes. The Younger Dryas boundary at 12,900 years ago shows the chemical signature of a large extraterrestrial impact across 3 continents. The simultaneous extinction of 35 large mammal genera across North America at that moment is consistent with sudden catastrophic environmental collapse. The Black Sea inundation at approximately 7,500 years ago displaced a large human population toward Mesopotamia, carrying the memory of total destruction by water. The Burckle crater in the Indian Ocean floor is a candidate impact site consistent with the directional characteristics of the Sumerian flood account. And the Sumerian text, cataloged as K3375, describes the physical sequence of a large oceanic impact with accuracy that the Bronze Age scribes who preserved it could not have derived from imagination. The tablet is in the British Museum, the nano diamonds are in the sediment, the crater is on the ocean floor, the flood deposits are in the archaeological record. Nobody with funding is connecting them. But here is the detail that I have been sitting on since I started researching this video. The Sumerian king list, which divides history between before the flood and after the flood, lists the pre-flood rulers with reigns measured in thousands of years. Scholars dismiss these numbers as mythological. But the first post-flood king on the list, a man named Jushur of Kish, has a reign of 1,200 years. 1,200 years is precisely the duration of the Younger Dryas climatic disruption. The Sumerians were not measuring his reign in years. They were measuring it in the duration of the catastrophe. In the next video, I'm going to show you tablet A06456 at the Louvre Museum in Paris. It's been there since 1887. It describes what was visible in the sky in the weeks before the flood arrived, and what it describes is still being tracked right now by an observatory in Chile whose data feed has been running continuously since 2024. The flood is documented. What caused it is still up there.